What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another series here. I've got the London system for you guys. This is an opening that's special to me. I think it's a big reason why I became a Grandmaster. I think I'm very good at the opening, and I've got some tips and tricks that I'm hoping to teach you guys along the way here as we start at 800 ELO and work our way up. I will only be able to include the games with the white pieces, of course, but I decided to run this series idea anyway, so if you see some jumps in rating, that's probably why. Enjoy the series. And let me show you what happens when you play the London, right? When you don't play the London, 175 moves, it's really tough to win. When you do play the London, well, let's have a look. You're just gonna see a one-sided stomp here. H6. So honestly, after this, not that concerned at the moment because of that. But when I see moves like this, moves that are like to the side of the board, stuff like that, I not really like terribly concerned. I'm more likely to play C4 because to me this move just looks like a waste of time, and then play normally. You could also just play moves like this, but I'm gonna play C4. I look at H6 and I'm like, okay, that's way too early. This guy is like doing some accelerated habits or something. So I feel way more interested, way more compelled to open the position. Knight here, knight here. Maybe there's also this move, but it seems a little bit greedy at the moment. I'm gonna take this and to bring the pieces out like that. Essentially, H6 doesn't look like it's going to benefit the center. I already have something extra because I moved first. Luxury of playing the white pieces. Okay. I think this is going to be a capture. Give him an isolated pawn. No matter like how he takes back, he's going to wind up with one, so. I always like playing these positions in general. Not like they're winning by by force or anything, but they're just pleasant to play. You know you've got a long-term weakness that you can target. Castle. So knight c6, castle, d4, knight a4 hits the bishop, and that makes it uncomfortable for black to play this move. Still thinking about rook c1, knight a4, these kind of moves. Let's do this. He goes back, which is a good move, but this bishop takes knight was not necessary. We'll take on d5. This should be a pawn for us. Queen takes d5 looks it's pretty promising, honestly. I'm gonna take with the bishop, see if we can't drum up a little counterplay. I really want to play bishop d6. I have a feeling he's gonna take it, you know? But unfortunately, the move just sucks after rook d8. There is queen takes on b2, which is my opponent's next intention. I'm more interested in taking this. Take this, rook c2, queen here, double, and put all the pressure on this guy. Okay. This is a nice principled game. Playing against the isolated pawn. Wow, that's a very aggro move. Probably not a good one, but certainly gonna try to scare me. If he goes there, we'll just take it. Rook c1 is gonna hit that. H3 to have an escape square. B3 to get off the the square down there. Okay, let's double up. If he goes rook d8 and we take that, we'll actually run into back rank issues ourselves on d1. So I will play h3 when that happens, if it happens. Let's play a good habits move. h3. No more back rank. b3 I mentioned is also going to be nice. Get off that square. It means that my rook and queen can move freely without having to worry about defending this. An ELO range that I recommend the London to. Well, I would say you can definitely play it at any level. Let's start off with that. But you might get the most of it up till, you know, 2000, 2200, chess.com, something along those lines. Okay, really interested in this. It's like a nice prep move. I'm doing all the slow moves first. My next move is gonna have to be thought out. Okay, this move is really inviting the move, it's definitely inviting the move b4 because the pawn is pinned. So the rook on c8, but at the same time you play this, not necessarily clear that you're gonna be winning a pawn there. I still like it, taking advantage of the pin. I'm gonna start with this. His rooks are a little bit tied down here. Like if he moves either one away from this pawn, I'm just gonna grab it. You can definitely support the pawn a bit more with the queen, but no matter where he puts the queen, he's still gonna be in this pin here. a5. That's a, as we say in the business, high energy move. I'm definitely thinking about queen a6 here. It hits the rook. It doesn't threaten to win the bishop because it's defended, but it still attacks it, and it also attacks the a5 pawn. So I'm liking queen a6 a lot here. Queen b5 doesn't actually threaten the bishop, like I said, so pawn takes pawn just works. Yeah, I'm pretty about this this queen a6 thing. If these two pawns weren't here, then bishop takes f2. You know, I do have to watch out for this, but I think I'm okay at the moment. There's no scary discovered anything for that bishop, and pawn takes pawn, unfortunately, drops a rook. He has not been playing poorly at all. It's his first real blunder. He dropped a pawn earlier, but that happens. Isolated pawn positions. Sometimes you can even sack it for compensation. So this is really the first significant blunder. And he's gonna resign. He's principled. He said, you know what? If I'm down a rook, I don't have a chance here. Very principled player. As soon as he was worse, he resigned. Tapped out. 4 move game. It really felt like this was even the whole way. I thought it was gonna be a long game, but in the end it was actually only 24 moves. A huge improvement on 175. I gotta say. So London is looking a little bit more reliable than b6 at the moment. We'll take the win. I know this didn't look too much like a London. I could definitely just keep it really London centric with these moves, but I wanted to at least show sometimes when people play like random moves that look like time wasters, you can definitely strike with c4 a little more of an aggressive version. We get the white pieces again, which means we get the London. All right, we got a pretty standard one. Are we gonna get the symmetrical or a more traditional approach? Okay, e6. So if I see e6, this bishop not coming out, I'm already okay, let's go c3. I'm already liking the position. Wow, that doesn't look right. That really don't look right. So already, I'm not saying this is the best, but Bishop takes, rook takes, queen a4, followed by queen takes a7. Does win a pawn. Also, takes, bishop b5 check. And it also looks like we're going to win something there with queen a4. So I see queen f6, and I'm already just thinking, like, no, there's got to be something wrong with that. It does not look right. Bishop b5 check, maybe one of the more annoying ones. But that being said, we're gonna stick to the basics here. Last game, I feel like I kind of went off the beaten path. I'm gonna try not to get sidetracked and stick to basic London concepts. All right. Pawn takes. The only thing we can't really do is take this way because our bishop hangs. If I'm loving this idea, then bishop e5 first, and then pawn takes. That makes sense. But c takes here, followed by knight c3, knight b5. I think this is the way to go. We'll go knight c3. This doesn't quite win anything. He's got knight c6 there, but he's got to be mindful of the potential tactics. Well, I suppose it's definitely... I mean, I like bishop b5, but bishop d3 certainly... high percentage knight e7 here. You got to play the odds. Play the odds a little bit. This is a great move as well. Once I castle, knight b5 is going to be a threat, so we're probably going to get our opponent's dark squared bishop. h6 would be a nice move, but also a bit of a waste. It's a good move because it's necessary, but h6 is not a good move in general. Yeah, it's a very common way to trap someone's queen in the opening. So if not h6, I'm very concerned. Yep. Very concerned here for my buddy. Yeah, the habits were there for him if he needed it. Knight h6, not habits. Although knight to the center wouldn't have helped him anyway. You gotta have... But the thing is, if you were doing habits, your queen would never be out here. So, yeah, you'd never be in this situation. Unfortunately for you two, Morris. Yeah, this is going to be material. Now, pawn or queen? Gonna go queen because maybe queen g3 lines up some threats. This knight, you know, if it goes to f5, we're gonna grab it. If not, we're probably gonna take on h6. Yeah, I think we'll take this. Takes queen d5. There is bishop e6. I don't have the nicest position, I have to admit. So, yeah, it's kind of 50-50. This is a great move. Win a pawn. Very comfortable, but I think I'm probably going to castle here. If I can take and play knight takes d5, I think that's crushing. So I wanted to get out of this pin. And if we get black to play bishop takes knight, we're very happy. Yeah. Okay, so we got the bishop pair and we have a queen for a knight. Not shabby at all. Takes, we have queen d5 and we're hitting that knight and threatening checkmate. My opponent might inadvertently guard mate and miss the knight hang, which seems likely. b6 hangs the rook and mate. Knight c6 does cover both, so this is a great move. Knight back to c6. I'm thinking it's a queen d6 angle. Don't let him castle either way. Maybe d5 next. So I will say, like, yeah, when you're playing the London around 1100 or below, you won't get mainline stuff played against you. That's been my experience so far. That would have also been my hypothesis. And we know that I'm not too shabby at predicting. The candidates went, you know, reasonably well for my predictions. Nowhere near perfect, but at least we called Nepo. At least we called that one. I got some other predictions very wrong though. All right, D5. If the knight moves, that's mate in 1. All right, let's take with a check. And knight here is particularly unfortunate. It will probably lead to force mate. Because we can take this. The king needs to move here. I only see one way to avoid mate. Not that way. Hit him with the dab sneeze at the end. It was a unfortunate London for black. Like queen f6, you're just not going to see this very often. It's not a move that's extremely dangerous for white. It doesn't affect our setup. The only thing it does do is it hits the bishop, so you can't take back that way. But like I said, there's a lot of things with bishop takes knight, these checks like b5, a4, even bishop e5 right off the bat. But I liked our plan of trapping the queen. It's a good one to know. And for the most part, queen f6, you're just not going to see too often. So wouldn't pay too much attention to it, but it's good to see how bringing that queen out was the exact reason that black lost the game. Ended up losing the queen. All right, we get the white pieces again. Let's bring out that London. First 2 moves of the game, pretty much every time, you know, barring some suspicious stuff. Knight c6, let's go e3. Yeah, knight c6 I usually consider basically a mistake. I don't think it's a good move. It definitely needs the appropriate attention, but usually when you see the knight go there, it's like your cue to play c4, which is what I have done. Whenever you play c4, the knight also no longer goes to d2. It always goes to c3. That's just the way it goes. Okay, I like that we get to see this. Bishop d6. Now here you don't want to allow the double pawns because this guy's isolated. Or he will be as a result. So you don't want to allow bishop takes bishop and have to take with a pawn. There's a few ways you could play knight e2. But really you want knight f3 to guard the central square. Now, it's not really a mistake to allow bishop takes bishop, but I think for our purposes, we'll steer clear of those kind of structures. So let's keep it simple and just drop back bishop g3. Like I said, there's a few ways to do it. Queen f3 even, bishop g5, but let's play a move that's very common in the London, which is, hey, when those bishops have tension, drop it back. It's usually what you do. Okay, queen e7, trying to see here, but it looks like maybe e5 is the prescription. I think we can just develop knight f3, keep it simple. I wonder if my opponent is going to castle this way. This much I wonder. Bring the rook to a semi-open file, and yeah, he does go that way, so there could be some nasty stuff incoming. let's start with this. Take the square away from black's pieces. We love to see that move, don't we? Queen e2, tickling the idea of bishop takes pawn. And knight a5 is a great move to see because I anticipate knight b7 and queen e8 mate. Looks like you can save your knight, but you save your knight into mating yourself. So does it really count? I'm not sure. I don't think it really counts. Yeah, knight c6. Knight c6 and bishop f5, especially if you see both of them, but if you see one of them, it's usually your cue to play c4. But if people go for c5 themselves, you almost always play c3. c3 solidifies the center, but if your opponent plays knight c6, they're telling you they're not playing c5 anytime soon. So take advantage and play c4 and gain even more space. Speaking of good games, let's get one here. Classic line, knight c6 again. So I'm always going to start with e3, but let's go for that c4 move again. You're starting to get used to the situations I played in. Again, if knight b4, queen a4 check. Happy to take that back. If knight b4 now, I'll just castle. We are ready to go here. Yeah, so I think this is just a good opening. Another way to put it. It's a comfy opening. Pieces out. There's some annoyance with like taking here and knight to d5, but I don't think it's really too substantial. But it is making me think about things like rook c1, queen b3. So I'm gonna play rook c1. See if he goes for this or anything. No. Okay. He just goes back. Again, we've seen this. Bishop g3 has, in my reaction in the past, it still looks like a good move. The other thing that I like though is bishop to g5 because I'm threatening to take and go e4, e5. Pretty sure this will work. Takes, e4, bishop g4. It's gonna get more dicey than I'd like. So let's keep the pin for now. This is a real threat, but taking first, I think bishop g4 is strong. Hello, J Rebo. Dr. Lord, okay, it's played. Let's get back here. I'm happy to see this. That's definitely not a good move for black. And I see a lot of people trying to take this way, like getting this position. Hey, maybe this is good for white, but you're trying to be too fancy. I would just leave it. No need. That's my opinion. Sometimes it is a good move, but just capture towards the center, man. Like your life will be easier. I promise you that. Wow. H5. Okay. Okay, there could be some bishop d3 stuff. Also, rook f to d1 looks good. a6. I don't even mind bishop d3 anymore. Let's just continue development. Nice simple moves. My opponent's expanding probably a little too far objectively on the king side. We can look to punish that with some active play. a3 bishop back looks good. Bishop d3 looks good. Even knight b3 to c5 looks good. I do like the look of that. Okay, let's start with this. I'm playing b6 with the black pieces against everything. You guys can still learn a thing or two about b6, but not the main purpose. Knight c5 incoming. What makes a move look good? It's a great question. I would say cleavage, heels, the right amount of makeup, how much liquor I've had. Knight takes, knight c5 both look good. Some high heels on those moves. I mean, I'm ready for the high T, king takes f6. I'm ready for it. Do it for us, buddy. Do it. You know you wanna. Look at that. Look at this absolute Giga Chad. King captures f6. Holy smokes. This guy's on top of the world. He's a huge beast. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm trying to keep the king in the middle. I don't want him just running back. Knight e4 was my plan. Let's continue to execute it. King back, queen f5. King e6, d5. Yeah, I mean, this should be not good. Put it that way. This should be of the not good variety. Where is my nice move? Where is my brilliant move? This is the best I could come up with. And rook takes f6, it went the other way. We do have an escape square for a king here, which is nice. Knight takes. Very likely mate in one here. It's mate in one everywhere. GG. Urgh. That's probably what he's saying right now. Yeah, we just had to hunt that king properly. I think it was the right thing to do. Could start with rook takes c6 as well. This is definitely the smarter move order, I think. But I really couldn't decide on the right way to go about things. I would say stick to c3 in general, but I just happen to be getting a lot of cases where c4 I think is good. Knight c6 and bishop f5 played by your opponent, often c4. As soon as your opponent plays c5, never c4. Those are some good rules to start with. There'll always be exceptions though. Hello to Dr. Lord Mayonnaise. You're wondering what is a fair over-under for win in the London? This was 34 moves. I've had some that are like 25 moves. Obviously, it can go to an endgame and be more. But if I knew there was a challenge, I would probably avoid an endgame. Probably like a tough challenge is 25. Very tough. Tougher but doable is 30. And more than 30, I'm probably the favorite. All right, well, we got the white pieces. We got a challenge to win in 28 moves. Damn it! If only I got the resignation there. That was a free 20 subs. No! Dr. Lord Mayonnaise would have been in the dirt. Let's go. Continuing the London here. Got our setup. We're trying to win in under 28 and a half moves. I'm going to continue to play my stuff though. You know, I'm going to continue to be instructive here. C4, when we see this like symmetrical stuff, we're going to get that move C4 out there. If takes, we got E4 coming. All right. I want to say it's got to be E3, but you know, the sad part is that we can get a really good position by playing this. Like a really good position. So I'm going to stop and say Queen B3, Queen B6, and C5 is a tremendous position for white. Please play that. But I will play E3. Okay, time for G4. We need to spice things up. H4, then my opponent just plays H5 or something. This is alright though, we'll get some space here. Ooh, okay. He's doing some weird stuff. Let's go for a trade. We've used 10 moves. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. But we do have a square on G6. That's something. Okay, we're gonna have to play a little aggro here. King up so that the rooks connect and I can really maybe think about G5. Plus, it gets out of the pin in case there's some ideas there. E2 is not a great square for the queen, but we do what we must. Okay, let's try to open things up with G5. Yeah, so he's keeping it real closed here. But I have a few ways to try to pry it open. First of all, takes, rook takes. I'm dropping F4, so that's not really it. But this one, takes. There's still some pressure around that king. My opponent continues to be resilient. Tough. I should probably take the light squared bishop here. Almost for sure. Okay, this guy's very strong. King D2 and Queen H5 is needed. King D2 is a, auspicious move. I can play it and it's not exactly obvious what I'm intending. But we're on move 16, so we're all in on this side here. Question is, so if we take, there's knight F4. That is to be avoided. We can play bishop D6. We can play queen B1 to hit that knight. Queen B1. Knight has to move. And is there anything there? I'm gonna go queen B1. I'm looking for knight here. Okay, I'm looking for that too. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now, queen e7, rook takes h5, rook h8, queen h1, queen h7 is the mating pattern that we need. However, is there any way he can prevent that realistically? Because I could also go here, king over, and then maybe then rook takes h5. But no, we should just take. This is pretty nasty. I'm on move 19 as well, so we should be in good shape here, because any rook move, it's still going to be checkmate the exact same way. This is really the only move I see that saves him for a few more moves. That's not going to do it, and that under is going to get smashed. Nice, nice, nice. GG. We were able to do it in, what was that? 22 moves. 22 moves. There we go. Truth is, word came in, said hello, and then came in with a bet. And it was against me, of course. We had a pretty high T London for there, Dr. Lord. Warmed up with the black pieces, G4, yeah, King E2, some high T. The key was my opponent missing this. But even if knight here, I was gonna go here and maybe try G6, I don't know. Like some really risky stuff, trying to get the exact same tactic to work. It was gonna be off the cuff. Thanks again, Dr. Lord Mayonnaise, for the challenge. Important to remember, guys, that white should be playing queen b3. And then after queen b6, you get a very strong position here where you play b4, b5, pressure here, here. So make sure you remember that. Don't play g4 and king e2 like me. We got the London system upcoming. d4, we want to play bishop f4. c5 is a move where I will not be playing bishop f4. c5, e5. Honestly, you can play c3 here. I've recommended this a few times. I don't like it. If you like your London system though, you can try to play c3, bishop out there, and e3. But when I see this, all I do is d5. It's just a good opening, in my opinion. I definitely don't build my London series around trying to play the London, even if it's like not that good. So in these cases, yeah, play d5. That's my recommendation. I don't know what that move is though. c4 is friendly. Okay, let's protect that. I'm gonna take here. Thing is, we might win that pawn, but it doesn't really do much for us. Let's take here. Takes, we'll take back with a knight. We're only on move 5 and we can almost threaten mate, so not a bad start. There's e5 looming. Still gonna be a little bit tricky. Still gonna be a bit tricky. I think we take this. Hitting the bishop, pawn takes, and then we go e5. So we'll win material here, but if he takes, we'll also end up trading queens, which is annoying. It would be ideal to keep the queens on here. Tough ask, though. I think this is still gonna be pretty tough if the queens trade. It's tough to like generate an attack without the queen. Okay, long think here. Okay, this is good. I think we're gonna keep some pieces on. Okay. Take back. I think we save our king here. Get out of dodge. The general win that we want, and maybe I should have played last turn, but we'll play next, is knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, and then bishop takes pawn, winning the queen. And it's really easy to walk into that. It's also easy to defend it. Unfortunately, with bishop e6, really natural move after that. But I think we gotta try it. Because also, knight c6 stops bishop takes b7. This move drops the pawn. So I'm hoping that he's like, oh, knight c6, can't take me. That's a bit of an annoying move. I gotta be honest. Gonna have to play this. I gotta keep her queen on the board here. Not worth it to take that. So bishop e6 was a move we didn't want to see. Now, you know, I gotta win this game pretty quick. This knight is going here. What can we really do? Okay. I think he'll go here. We have to try to get our buddy here. Our buddy Wooly to blunder. Wanted to go here, but it just hangs the pawn. He's in the tank. What am I doing? Trying to win in under 28.5 moves. Okay. That looks like just a good move. Just a good old-fashioned good move. Rook e8 is very, very annoying. How can we create? Really have to come up with something good here. There's still the idea of knight f5, but I have to connect it with something. At the moment, it's a bit haphazard. Ugh. This is tough. Okay. I'll do this. I really think he's gonna go here, but he could also go knight e5. He does. This one, at least, we get our queen where we want. But then the knight jumps into g6. Ugh. Ugh. Huh. I think we have to play this move. This seems like we're at move 17 right now. So we still have 10 moves-ish, but it's looking tougher and tougher the more moves I see from the lad. Uh-oh. Here we gotta play rook d1, of course. Just not even bishop h6. Queen can take. This guy is really really saying hello here. Although that is a blunder. The wheels could be falling off here. The wheels could be falling off. What are you on? Move 20. The wheels could be falling off for Buddy Woolly. It's very hard to defend this. I hope. 21. That's mate in one. It's pretty important. Maybe he'll take. What? Woolly? Where you at, Woolly? Move 22. Are we even gonna make that many moves? Hello? Trying to take my time so that he can, you know what I mean? So he recovers. We're not even gonna get there. What are we supposed to do in this situation? But he can't even clock in. What am I supposed to do here? This is brutal. I have a huge favorite to win. I have 4 moves to win. Oh, this is... No, Wooly and Dr. Lord are in cahoots, man. We got... Wait, I didn't have to mate him. Wait, I didn't have to mate him. I thought I had to mate him. Oh, this is a win. I thought I had to mate the guy. We just had to win the game. We won. Oh, this is great. Oh, Dr. Lord. Picked the wrong horse, it looks like. Picked the wrong horse. This is great. The officials are saying your poor wording led you to being scanned by your own language. Yeah, I think that might have been the case, Dr. Lord Mayonnaise. Unfortunately, when you draw up the contract, you're the one responsible as well. My boy Wooly. He came through for us, nice and slow near the end. 20 gifted subs from Dr. Lord Mayo. Thank you, Dr. Lord. Like I said, every game with the white pieces is going to be under 28.5 moves, so yeah, this is a casino where you can only lose. Thank you for making it to the end of today's episode of the London System series. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment below and like the video, and don't forget to subscribe right there and turn post notifications on so you never miss the next video. Speaking of next video, if you want more of the London System series, click right there.